All right, guys, this is Jacob from I BnB, and in this video, I want to talk about hedging the come out don'ts with a lay bet, and specifically with a lay 4 or 10, and let me explain why. So let's say you take a $100 don't, right, and you want to hedge that out. So you really need about $200, all right? So you've got to pick, if you choose either the 4 or 10 as your best case scenario. All right, we're going to pick the 4, all right? So what happens here? If we roll a 4, we're going to lose $200. But we're going to get this don't as the 4, which is a pretty good situation, right? So then we can just play to win our $200 back. If that does happen, it's not guaranteed, but it sure is going to make it easier on you to get your money back, right? If it lands on any of these numbers, fine, no big deal, or don't, just get set. If it rolls a 7 or an 11, let's start with the 11. If it rolls an 11, we just lose here. 11 is bad. 11's the worst play, probably because you don't even get nothing reset. But if it rolls a 7, you lose here, but you win 95 here. Essentially, you win 100, but 5 for big. So the 4 or the 10, when you lay it, if it does happen to hit it, at least you're getting this in replacement, and you can put some odds on there, and you can hopefully win your money back. So I'm only going to play one don't bet, guys. I'm just going to hedge it here. And I'm just going to do this and see how many times it comes out successful. Or if we run into the situation like we need to put odds in the 4 or whatever. All right, so the point's 5. Okay, so now on this don't, it's up to you what you want to do. I'm going to go on and put some odds on it, 75 in odds, just because I'm going to play like I was playing. But mostly this video is just about showing that hedge. All right, so let's roll this out, see what happens. Oh, there's the 4. Cool. And that's why that specific hedge, that using either the 4 or the 10, there's back-to-back 4s, using either the 4 or the 10 as your hedge for your don't bet is pretty effective. Oh, out of the table. Out of the table. And what ends up happening then is when you do roll either that 4 or the 10 that you have that lay on, you have a chance reasonable chance for that not to kill you, for that to, you have to have the guts to put some money on it. But when it does, you're not dead in the water, so to speak. Ouch. Now if you hit your don't points, that's a different story. All right, let's try this again. Let's go to the 10 this time. All right, I'm actually kind of wanting it to hit so you guys can see. Aces, okay. It's going to win. I'm actually kind of wanting it to roll a 10 so you guys can get a visual understanding of what I'm talking about. Yes, perfect. 6, 4, 10. Guys, and remember, I'm just throwing them down there. All right, so we just lost 200. Dang, that sucks, right? But now we got the 10, all right? We get 100 of it back here. So if we go 200 in odds, that's the other 100 back. So if we go 250, then do 25 profit, 300 down. Again, guys, you'll have to have some guts to play this way. Now, if we roll the 10, yeah, it sucks. But what I'm showing here is that it's not the end of the world. If you do roll that come out and you have your hedge on it, at least you're getting back the best number you can get as your don't. So that's kind of the idea behind it. There's an 8, back-to-back 8s. So obviously, you know, right here you are at risk. But the hedge itself is the play we're looking at. There's a 4. Well, I'm not necessarily looking at a strategy here. I'm just showing the hedge itself and why you should be doing it and why it's effective. Now, using it on the other numbers, it's not as effective because the don't on the 4 and 10 is obviously the best probability-wise. It's the best for your probability, so that's the one you probably want. Now, the 5 and the 9 and the 6 and 8, they do work, but they're more risky. Now, you don't have to put as much money down. That was an 8. So there's trade-offs for all of it. But either way, You know, you don't laying a 5 or a 9 is not terrible. There's a 5, but laying the 6 and 8 is a little trickier. Especially because most people are shooting at the 6 and 8. Most people, if they are any kind of dice influence or whatever, they're actually trying to make inside numbers the huge majority of the time. 7 out. All right. So that's kind of how that paid off. Yeah, we did roll the 10 on the come out, but we did get it back. And the reason we got it back is just because, so we get 150. It's because it's a 2-to-1 advantage. All right, so we did actually end up making money on that shooter. All right, go right back on the 10. Show this another time or two. I'm glad I did get a hit the point or the lay, because then you guys got a better visual of what I'm talking about. We'll go 150. Try to beat this 5. 9, okay. But so that's the idea behind hedging the come out on your don'ts with a lay 4 or 10, and why it's effective and why it works. All right. Now, could have I rolled back-to-back 10s and it really devastated me? Yeah, absolutely it could have. But guys, there's always ways to win, and there's always ways to lose. So on every strategy, there's a hole. There's something bad that can happen. There's a bad run of dice that could destroy you. Right? Even if it's super conservative, there's still a run of dice that could really give you a bad day. Oh, out of the table. And guys, that doesn't mean that the strategy is bad if you do see that run of dice. That's don't get caught up in what's called confirmation bias, okay? And this confirmation bias kills craps players. All right, there's a 5, so we've hit 2 5s, right? Knocked our point off on 2 5s. Does that mean the don't is a bad play? No. What about the 10 we just won? You know, that one was great. All right, so don't get caught up in confirmation bias that's saying, oh yeah, see, that just happened. I knew it would happen. But you don't pay attention to the hundreds of other times it doesn't happen. You know, oh, wow, we hit it again. Maybe 10's the wrong play, right? All right, don't get caught up in the confirmation bias. Confirmation bias crushes craps players. It's the worst. Confirmation bias is by far the worst when you're talking about, let me get 350 in odds. When you're talking about dice control. All right, confirmation bias crushes craps players that are interested in dice control. And the reason being is because they see something or they don't see something for a very short term or a short run, and they're like, oh yeah, this is working. Most likely it's not. It's still very random for the huge majority of the time. So just don't get caught up in confirmation bias and recency bias. Remember, guys, there's the 7. Remember, it takes a very long time to be good at stuff like this. But like right now, I have no issue at all with putting odds back on the 5 if I roll a 5 as my don't. You know why? Because guys, just because I rolled 2 of the points and it hurt me, that doesn't mean I'm going to roll another one. It's still going to work out the same. The probabilities, oh, I was supposed to have a lay bet out there, my bad. The probabilities are still going to be the same, guys. And so that just watch out for confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is dangerous in games. And it can be negative and positive. It's dangerous both ways. So I just had the 8, right? The 5, I lost twice on the 5, but I won on a 0.7 out on the 8. Does that mean that I should only play the don't on the 8? No, it's more dangerous on the 8 than the 5. So, guys, getting caught up in confirmation bias getting caught up in recency bias, seeing something recently and thinking it is the rule. Guys, all right, we were on the right side this time. It's just not. It's just the numbers are the numbers. That was a 10, not a 7. Okay, put that right there. The numbers are the numbers. Yeah, you're going to have runs one way or another. Sure, absolutely. But if your strategy is solid for 10 years, but then you have one bad year, guys, that doesn't mean it's bad. If you've been trying dice control and it hasn't been working for 5 years, it's probably not going to work on year 6 either. There's something else going on. Just don't get caught up in those biases. Oh, we got smacked on our 10. Oh, dang it. So now the 10 is bad, right? No, the 10 is great. And guys, that's something I worry about a lot of craps players, especially newer players, that they get caught up like the field. The field has a really, really crazy confirmation bias. All right, there's the 7. Okay, so finally saw one of these. I've been waiting for one of these. This is going to win 100 for 5, and this is going to lose. All right. So the field has a terrible confirmation bias to it. And there's the 3, and what ends up happening is players see all those numbers, and then they stick it out there, and they see that double. They stick their money out there, and they might win 3 in a row. And they're like, oh yeah, the field is the best bet. They're like, the field, this is the one I hear all the time. There's back-to-back 3s. So here's those come out losers coming back to us. I hear this one all the time. Well, the field's like a coin flip. No, it's not. The field has a 56% chance to lose. That is not a coin flip, guys. There's a 9. All right, a coin flip is 50-50. Right? And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, that 6%, but it is. It's huge. It's a huge amount. And guys, so just be careful with those confirmation biases. Have a lot of data to support yourself. That's why I shoot strategies. Dang, look at all these 3s. That's why I shoot strategies hundreds of times before I put real money behind them. Hundreds of times. I give it a chance to fail in every way it can fail, because then I'll know what I'm looking for. I'll know, okay, it can fail this way, it can fail that way. Is that worth it? Does the math say that's worth it? So another confirmation bias is this right here. That the don't has a 2-to-1 chance to lose on the come out. That's a confirmation bias. Let me explain to you why. Because the don't doesn't have a 2-to-1 chance to lose on the come out. The don't has 8 ways to lose on the come out of 36. That's what it has, all right? Because all those other ways don't lose. And so when you look at those numbers, you're like, okay, well, it wins. There's the 7. It wins this way and loses this way. So this is it. But you're leaving out all the other numbers, all right? Because once the don't gets set somewhere, now you're in the advantage every time. So again, guys, that's something that when people have lost on the don't, they look at and they're like, oh, see, that's why. No, it's just a bad run. Right? So we ended up a little bit after getting knocked off a few times. We're up 70 bucks. Not terrible. I wasn't really trying to make chips or anything there. I was just showing the lay bets, and it kind of turned into a confirmation bias speech. But anyway, guys, just stay away from the confirmation bias. When you're playing your don'ts, guys, hedge it with the 4 and 10, because you can always, with the lay 4 and 10, because you can always go back and redo it. If you do hit it, you're going to have that as your don't. You're going to be able to attack it from that spot where you have 3 ways to lose and 6 ways to win. So again, guys, this is Jacob from I BnB, and you guys have a great day.